Welcome back, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you may be watching this. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So let's debate it. Let's talk about it. Are we as a country going to be in free speech absolutist, or are we going to decide who gets to say what and when and how they say it? So, the first thing, there are already laws in place, friends and family of the internet and fellow watchers on the wall, against threatening other people online, making obvious threats against them. There are already laws legislating that. What I'm seeing is extremely concerning coming from the right. We are literally losing the moral high ground here. And I firmly believe Charlie Kirk would be very disappointed. I do. Because I watched enough of what he does and did with his life, the way he felt about the freedom of speech, to know that what is happening right now in the Conservative Party, the MAGA side, would be extremely disappointing to Charlie Kirk. I am watching people give themselves a badge and decide that you have the right to determine if what somebody else said is right or wrong. You didn't like it. It offended you, which is a spirit of offense, which the Bible completely talks about. Do not have a spirit of offense. So we're going to get into this really deep. Drop your questions over here in the comment section if you want to ask a question. But I think that if we don't have this conversation now, a lot of you are going to regret what's fixing to happen. So drop your name in chat. Tell me who you are, where you're from, where you're watching from. How do you feel? Do you think it is completely okay for conservatives, whether they're Christian or not, to be able to dox people because you simply disagree with their comment? Now, let me make this very clear, because people like to misunderstand things, which is why I have a problem with people judging other people's speech. I am not condoning threatening. We already have laws against threats. Okay. So if your question or your comment is they don't have a right to threaten people, Samantha, then that's not what I'm talking about. And it's on you to understand that. I'm saying, is it okay because somebody went, ha ha, Charlie Kirk is dead, he's a Nazi, for you then to be so offended for Charlie Kirk that you find where this person lives, you dox this person all over the internet, and you do it with pride? Is that okay? All right, so Tamitha says Charlie Kirk was a true man of God and a husband and father. He spoke truth in love. I'm not ashamed of being Christian. I'm not ashamed of being following Jesus. Nobody said we should be, honey. Hello, sweetheart. Cats and Gone says we do have freedom of speech for right now. Hey, David from Australia, who now lives in Texas. Hey, Tom, how are you? So we're going to talk about this because this is really serious. No, you're right, David. I don't agree with people laughing at his death. I don't think it's funny when people die, especially when they're assassinated in front of their child and their wife. And the entirety of the world has now seen it. That is disgusting. However, what is freedom of speech? What is it, you guys? Hey, C. Lee from the United Kingdom. What is freedom of speech? Who has it? Who has a right to it? What is it? No, it's not a war, Sasha. But unfortunately, right now, conservatives are losing the moral high ground at a tremendous speed, you guys. You can't tell a conservative from a liberal right now when you get on social media with the nonsense spewing out of the right's mouths. I can't express it to you enough. When there are school shootings, the first thing that happens is that parents get online and start demanding that your gun rights are taken from you. Not your Second Amendment right. It happens all the time. And I push back. I'm always like, I can't imagine what you're going through, but I am a Second Amendment absolutist. I believe everybody has a right to defend themselves. You don't have a right to remove my weapons because somebody else does something wrong with the weapon. All right, that's pretty easy to understand. Now, what is freedom of speech? What is it? Well, you don't really have freedom of speech, Celie, if you can face prison time from your government in the United Kingdom. And unfortunately, America is barreling towards this. Thank you, Joseph. No, Sasha, I'm not blind. You're just being emotional and childish. This is an adult conversation. If we can't be adults, adios. Y'all know I'm not going to tolerate it. This is very, very serious. Because if we allow people on the right to start dictating what other people can say, what's the difference? You're not going to be in power forever, Republicans. Eventually, Democrats are going to, it's like a pendulum happens. That's what Republicans do. So when the left gets back in control and they start trying to send us to jail or fine us for not using proper pronouns, they're taking away your what? Your freedom of speech. I totally agree, Kate. That's why we're having this. The same conservatives that are furious that Charlie Kirk was assassinated for freedom of speech, that's why they assassinated him. They didn't like what he was saying. That same group of people that are furious about that are now doing what the left did from 2020 to 2024. They're doxing people. They're canceling people. They're threatening. You guys are threatening people. I've seen some of these people get online and they're like, look, maybe it wasn't great that I said, I'm glad he's dead. Maybe that's not like the best thing for me to say, but do you really have a right to threaten my children? I've seen people have to say that. I'm fighting for all Americans, Sasha. And I'm sorry that you aren't in the position to understand that. And this is why I'm very concerned. People like Sasha believe that this is a war and that we should annihilate the left. You're just as bad as the left. You are exactly why I'm terrified and why we have to have this conversation. Listen to me. You don't have a right to police someone else's speech, people. You don't. Do you guys know that they blew people's houses up with Maltese cocktails and burned people alive when they started discussing freeing the slaves? That happened right here in America. That's what happened. They burned people. They ran them out of towns when they said, I don't believe in slavery. That is the problem. When you think that you have the moral high ground, that you have a right to police other people's speech, you become the monster. And the more that people on this side over here in the comment section are like, we should dox them and we should run them out of town. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, are you liberal? Because that's a liberal mindset. And I've said that before, and a lot of conservatives could not understand where I was coming from. People, listen to me. Conservatives can have liberal mindsets. Yes, they can. A liberal mindset means it's how I feel. It has to be the way I want it. And right now in this country, supposed conservatives are doing exactly what liberals did to you for 4 years, and you're cheering it on like you have a right. That's right. And here's the thing, people have a right to say what they want, folks. If you Here's the problem. Today we're fighting over Charlie Kirk got assassinated and everybody's got their feelings hurt that some Democrat or liberal said something ugly about Charlie Kirk online. And I'm not talking about the ones making threats to unalive other conservatives. We have laws against threats, okay? I'm talking about just words, or just dancing or just laughing. Is it deplorable? Yes. Should it should your employer seriously consider not having you as an employee because you're unsound of mind? Yes, especially if you're working with children or you're in the medical field, for the love of God. If you're happy about the deaths of somebody and you're a nurse or a doctor, that's depraved in a way that is unacceptable. But they tried this with us already, forcing us to use their pronouns. Why? Because they firmly believed they were in the right. And right now, you firmly believe you are in the right because you're basing everything off of your emotions. Your emotions are going to get you in trouble. People say and do stupid things. They say and do stupid things, people, especially young people. Okay? Especially young people. And I thank God the internet was not around when I was 17 or 18 or 19. I thank God for that. I'm watching grown Christians stalk teenagers. Your behavior is deplorable. You don't have a right to hunt down 17-year-old kids and threaten them, people. That doesn't make you the better person. That is not what Charlie Kirk did when he went and sat with these kids and calmly, respectfully debated their opinions on things. You're doing this because why? You're offended? That's a spirit. The Bible tells you that. Set it aside. Of course they don't like Charlie Kirk. He stood for everything the Bible stands for. Marriage to a husband and a wife, not a man and a man, not a woman and a woman. He stood for sovereign borders. Oh, something was making a noise. I had to look over there. Sovereign borders. He believed that they should not be indoctrinating our children in public schools, private schools. He was against DEI. Of course they hated him. It's everything they believe is right. So you're acting like they're doing something that they haven't always done, folks. But you're forgetting what freedom of speech actually means. It means that I can say Jesus is king, and there's only one way to heaven, and that is through asking Jesus Christ to forgive you your sins and being covered by the blood. There's only one heaven. And if there is a heaven, there is a hell. Because of freedom of speech in America, I can say that. But if you take away people's right to say what they think, it doesn't just stop with the liberals and what they're saying today. Eventually, they're going to be back in power and they're going to remove your freedom of speech, and you would have started it. Oh, Lord, here goes Sasha again. A man is dead. That's not freedom of speech. No, that's murder, Sasha. I don't understand what you don't understand about that. Your hate has made you dangerous. You are becoming what you hate. What did I say about Charlie that made people furious? I said he would be disappointed in all of you. That's what I said. I said Charlie Kirk would be so disappointed in what America is doing right now. Grown adults doxing high school students. It is not your right. You're an adult. They are children. And are they making, it doesn't matter that you're angry. Somebody goes, we're pissed. You didn't know Charlie. What are you mad about? I mean, I'm upset that a man was killed, but I'm upset that a young woman was killed on the subway the other day. I'm upset that 4 black men got killed right behind my house a few years ago. It always bothers me when death is, right? Death, especially murder, it's not okay, folks. It's demonic. Esther says, no, it's not okay to do what you've posed to us here. What, Esther? What did I pose to you? Let's talk about it. I love how you guys misinterpret what people say. That's why I'm concerned that you think you have the moral high ground to be the thought police, the speech police. Let me tell you what freedom of speech actually is. Congress shall have no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of the people to peaceably to assemble. The free speech clause went through several iterations before it was adopted as part of the First Amendment. James Madison drafted an initial version of the speech and press clauses that was introduced to the House of Representatives on June 8, 1789. Madison's draft provided the people shall not be deprived or abridged of their right to speak, to write, or to publish their sentiments. To speak, to write, or to publish their sentiments. The thing about living in a free society is that you and I don't have to agree, but we are both entitled to say what we want to do. We both have a right to speak what we see as our truth. That is how we come to agree to disagree or to agree to agree. Charlie Kirk understood that. He went on college campuses where he knew these kids were going to 60% or better disagree with him. And he spoke to them. He allowed them to say whatever insane thing they chose to say. And then I see all these people that call themselves Christians and conservatives literally wanting to tar and feather the left. The exact opposite of what Charlie Kirk did. If you want to honor him, start a Turning Point USA chapter at your local high school and run it. Do something constructive rather than destructive. That's the problem. What you're doing is as hurtful and as wrong as what they're doing. They're expressing that they did not like him, and you're expressing that you did like him. And then you go one step further. You dox them. You put their addresses out to the entirety of the world. You put their families in danger. You go after their jobs. You go after their freedom to say what they mean. So if I say I'm against trans, and I am 100% against any trans ideology, does that give the left the right to dox me and to threaten me? Yeah, there are no missing kids. She's one of those, Kelly. Sasha is obviously very, very unhinged. It's obvious. Her hate, there it is again. Sasha's like, it's war. Okay, Sasha. Technically that is a threat. Yeah, I agree. Let's go ahead and block her. Either it's a bot or it's seriously somebody that's unhealthy. So I just deleted her. She can never comment on my channel again. There's a thing about freedom of speech you guys seem to forget. You are becoming what you hate. And I'm going to say that. Should we allow these people to spew nonsense? No, comment back underneath their comment. Tell them the truth. What you're saying is hateful. It's rude. It's not okay. But I don't believe in trans ideology. So does that give the left the right? They would see that as hate speech. Do you see what I'm saying? Can you take yourself out of your emotions long enough to understand what I'm trying to tell you? You think you're on the moral high ground. You're doing something for Charlie Kirk. You're a warrior. You're a keyboard warrior. Warrior. And really, you just like need to get a job, open your Bible and go to church today. It's embarrassing. You guys are acting, you can't even tell the difference right now online between Christian conservatives and atheist liberals. There's no difference. You couldn't tell. You have people that call themselves conservative Christians cussing like sailors, threatening. They're threatening people who say, I hate Charlie Kirk. They're threatening them, which is exactly what Charlie Kirk pushed against, you guys. You can't see it because your emotions, you feel like you have a war to fight. Fight it on your knees. Fight it in heaven. Charlie's been fighting for like 14 years while you sat at home and did what? And now you're going to pick up his mantle and run? They are behaving like bratty children. But that's what I'm saying. That's the problem, Kelly. These people who can't even have like an adult conversation on this side, you think that you are morally in a position to judge other people's speech, and you're acting like children. Heather says, I'm working overtime to keep my anger down. They make these videos to taunt us. Heather, I'm going to tell you something. You're really not going to like this. Why are you watching them? You're an adult, right? Like you literally can put your phone down, right, Heather? Are they like putting them on your page? Are they tagging Heather's feathers over and over and making you watch it? That's what I'm saying. You're letting yourself. Okay, somebody says the algorithm feeds on making people angry. It's designed to make you hate. Exactly. Exactly. So either reset your algorithm on TikTok or stop watching the videos. It's completely your decision what you watch, people. You're like, they're taunting us, but you're engaging in it. So where's the self-awareness? Dude, for real, where is the self-awareness? We're supposed to be adults. We are not children. We do not have the right to take somebody else's freedom of speech from them, folks. Again, there are laws against threatening people. So I'm not talking about when they say kill all conservatives. That's not what I said. But the freedom of speech is a God-given gift. I am totally against trans, totally against it. If you take people's right to take their right from saying, I didn't like Charlie Kirk, I'm glad he's dead, he was a fascist, he was a Nazi, whatever nonsense they want to say. If you take that right from them, then you're going to take my right from me pushing back against the trans ideology. You're going to take my right to push the word of God out on the airways. It is a two-way street. But because you feel like, and this is where it really becomes concerning, you feel like you need to go to war. Against who? Who are you fighting? Your neighbors? Your child's school teacher? Your UPS driver? The McDonald's employee that cooked your hamburger? Is that who you're going to fight? You're literally becoming who you hate. It's just words. words. There's somebody else's opinion that you don't agree with. So don't engage with them. Don't read it. Don't watch it. You're an adult. Put your flipping phone down. The same people standing on the moral high ground of judging all the Charlie Kirk haters. How many of you went to church today or yesterday? How many of you picked up your Bibles? How many of you prayed? I saw a video being shown all over the place of this young girl sobbing. She made a video about Charlie Kirk dying. I didn't see what she made, but she was homeschooled. And all of her friends were mad at her. Okay, that's normal. If I saw a video of someone mocking Charlie Kirk's death that I knew on my channel, I would unfriend you. I would pop back. I'd be like, "Are you flipping nuts? What's wrong with you?" But that's somebody that I know, right? I would hold them accountable for their behavior. That's normal. That's how humans stop bad behavior, folks. We tell you we're not accepting that. That is inappropriate. Behave yourself. Okay? This young girl was 17. She began to cry. And at first I was like, you deserve it. And then I listened to her. And then I started to cry with her. Because I thought that could be my kid. That could be my little girl. She said something stupid on the internet. And she's lost all her friends. And she feels like her whole life is over. Y'all have become bullies, conservatives. You don't even care. She literally sounded like she was going to end her own life because she felt like she had nothing to live for. And my heart broke. My heart broke. My mother's heart broke for her. That is not what Charlie Kirk was about. Little girls crying on the internet. Y'all are hateful, hard people. You have become the left, every one of you that think that you are on some kind of moral high ground, harassing children on the internet. Yeah, I'm upset. I'm really upset. She's just a little girl, man. She said something stupid. And all of you supposed right-wingers, you're hounding her. I'm going to try to find it real quick because it literally broke my heart. Like, I was like, she's just a little girl, man. Just somebody's daughter that made the wrong comment at the wrong time. This one.
Let's all join hands and bow our heads.
And I want you to listen to this, and I want you to tell me that you think it's okay what they're doing to this little child.
For Charlie Kirk. Find out. He only had himself to blame. If you'd have been there. A few moments later. I just had to block all of my friends because they just have such different political beliefs from me. And I thought that we were the type of friends who would live together someday after college and stay in touch no matter what. And I thought these were the people that I would spend my life with and grow old next to. These were the people who saved my life on multiple different occasions. And I just don't know if I can continue being friends with them because of this. I just don't know. I dropped out of school for these people. I started homeschooling because of these people. And I don't know what I'm going to do because we go to such a small school together. And I don't know how I'm going to be able to face them. These people are my whole life. I don't know how I'm going to be able to avoid them.
a little girl, you guys.
I don't.
And yeah, it was an inappropriate video. But do you really think Charlie Kirk would be behind the entirety of the world hounding that child? If this is where conservatives are, we are failing. If you think this is how we grow the body of Christ, we are failing. If you think that posting "I am Charlie Kirk" hashtags while then doxing and threatening and putting people's families and lives in danger makes you the better person, you are wrong. As a mother, that concerns me to see a child. She's just a little girl. Kids do stupid things. In case you forgot what it was like, I didn't. I will never forget what it was like. Here's the difference between what y'all were doing and what Charlie Kirk did.
What is a cult?
Of course. Okay. Do you know any characteristics of a cult?
Sure. I mean, you could take the Jonestown death cult, of which there was a charismatic leader that constantly lied people, and they took them out of everyday normal life and leads them towards ostracization and cutting off of family ties. Am I getting closer to describing the Democrat Party?
According to the... No. What I'm talking about is MAGA. According to the Bethune Cook University website, characteristics of a cult include isolating members and criticizing them for leaving. Would you say that members of the MAGA movement will criticize others for leaving?
Well, yeah. I mean, but you guys criticize players that transfer out of the University of Tennessee football team. That's not a cult.
Okay, what about the absolute authoritarianism without meaningful accountability?
Okay, so what you're trying to say is that, like, what the leader says, the leader gets, basically?
Yes, Trump.
We have lots of disagreements in the MAGA movement. In fact, I'm more pro-life than the president is. In fact, a lot of people in this audience would have differing views maybe on where the president is at on Israel or Gaza or Ukraine or Russia. In fact, some people in this audience might say the president is not as pro-Second Amendment as they would like. I would argue that we actually have far more intellectual diversity in the MAGA movement than your traditional Democrat Party.
I see where you're going with this and stating that not every person who, I guess, supports Trump is fully supportive of him, but I'm saying the MAGA movement who will agree with him no matter what.
Well, I actually think that there's more depth and complexity to the MAGA movement than you would imagine. A lot of people here who would consider themselves to be part of the MAGA movement, they won't blindly sign on to everything that Trump does. However, they will say that they agree with him 8 out of 10 times or 9 out of 10 times. And so I would say, though, you know what was a cult? What was a cult is what we lived during COVID. During COVID, and allow me to build out the argument that no matter what the CDC or Anthony Fauci would say, you would have the little talking heads on television parrot it back, no matter how insane it was. We must close the schools, 6 feet to slow the spread, wear a mask while showering. Okay, I made that one up. But, I mean, the point being is that far more had characterizations of what a cult would be than the traditional Make America Great Again movement.
Okay, but you could also argue the side that Fox News does the exact same thing, where they just regurgitate everything that the right media is saying, and people on the right will believe anything Fox News says. And I'm not defending CNN. I'm not saying the Democratic Party is perfect. I'm just saying that there is a movement of conservative people who support Trump who will do it no matter what.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get to where you have come to this opinion. I'm trying to understand it because I see something completely different.
I do not use CNN as my news source, by the way, just so you know.
Good for you. Apparently, you haven't been in an airport recently because the only people that watch CNN is if you're walking through an airport. So I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. And by your own definition of a cult,
It's not.
He had a love for young people. And I see your comments. Well, she was making fun of Charlie Kirk dying. She was. You never did anything stupid. You guys, none of you watching this, all 300 people looking at me right now, none of you ever did anything or said anything that you regret as you grew up. None of you. You're all perfect, right? You all have the right to moral high ground. When Saddam Hussein was assassinated, did you cheer? I did. I cheered. I was like, yes, yes. Woo! We got him. Look, I'm wearing my We the People. Did you? Because there are people on the left. If that would have been on the internet, had we had social media then, and I know we had the beginnings of it, but I mean real social media, there would have been people calling you as a Christian horrible for cheering for the death of another person. Our children are indoctrinated. What else do you expect from them, people? So my question is this. What are you doing to help these kids? Doxing them, hounding them, and threatening them on social media. You tell me how that makes you on the moral high ground. How does that make you have the moral high ground? Because my kids are my heart. And if they say something stupid on social media, that's my place to correct them. If you come after them, I'm coming after you. And I don't care if you're conservative or liberal. I'm just telling you, I'm their mama. And I would not tolerate it. See, most of you have never been doxxed. You do it without understanding the consequences of it. I have. I've had to involve the sheriff of my parish multiple times. And I only have a total across all my social media. I only have a total of 110,000 people that follow me. So I can imagine when you've got 1 million followers, what doxing would look like for somebody. If it were a young male rather than young female, would I feel the same way? Yeah, I would. That's such a stupid question. I have sons too. Doxing came from Hitler. We have always understood that the left calls us fascists when really they are, because they can't understand what the true definition of fascism is, right? But when you begin to apply the techniques of a fascist out of your pain and your disapproval, you are really becoming a fascist. So let me say that again. Here's the problem. You are behaving like a fascist when you try to cancel culture someone because you don't agree with what they're saying. You don't have to agree with what they say. That's what freedom of speech actually is. It means that I can declare Christ as King. Jesus is Lord of Lords. I can declare it openly and freely. And you, if you don't agree with me, can then declare that you worship Satan. And if we were all adults and could have a conversation without our feelings dictating our actions, we then could actually maybe talk to people and bring them over to the side of Christ. But I see people that are supposed to be Christians doxing children, and I'm just ashamed. What is doxing? That's a great question. Thank you, Joey. Doxing is where you put someone's full name, physical address, their spouse, put pictures of them up. You put up pictures of their children. You put up where they work. And then You send it all out to everybody you know, and you encourage crazy people to call, email, threaten, drive by, whatever, these people. It's stalking. They call it doxing, but really what it is a form of internet stalking. It puts people's lives in danger. It puts people's livelihoods in danger. It puts their children in danger. I agree, Leslie. People just you don't understand what's really happening here. Is it right for people to make fun of the death of anyone? It doesn't even matter that it's Charlie Kirk. Let's just discuss it. Anybody? No. But we all have, so don't lie. Do not lie. Every one of you have heard about people who were being hunted for murder, and when they get caught, they get into a gunfight with the police, and you are actually relieved that that person is dead because you saw them as a what? As a bad person. These people that are happy Charlie Kirk is dead, they believed him to be a bad person. Esther, I don't even know what you're talking about. Just stop. So, I'm just saying, I do not think that Charlie Kirk would be proud of the Conservative Party right now, trying to remove people's freedom of speech. Again, freedom of speech does not include threatening people because we have laws against that. So let's not be redundant. Oh, I agree, Jay. But the problem is, it's not that her friends are not supporting her. It's that they're legitimately doxing this child across social media so that grown adults now go after her. You want to bridge the divide. Do you know why these kids behave the way they do? Because the adults behave this way. So if you want to see changing in the children, then you have to put your time and your energy into these kids. And you getting online, freaking out over other people's videos and comments, isn't really doing anything. It's a waste of energy. You're flat out wasting your energy and you don't even see it. You could be doing so much good in this world. But I'm seeing MAGA and conservatives literally being turned into Nazis right now. And it is very concerning to me. Because what comes next is all these people on their phone with their elected officials. We need laws. We need laws. Why? Why do we need laws to tell people what they can and can't say? Isn't that exactly what the Democrat Party's trying to be? They've been trying to do it since Obama. We all freaked out when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris wanted to have that Department of Speech or whatever they called it. What did they call it, Leslie? Give me the word for it. The Department of Misinformation. Am I right? And I'm going to tell you guys right now, the fact that people like Deborah Lee have to be timed out tells me the problem. I'm a Christian conservative, and because you don't like what I'm saying, you're coming after me online right now. Wow. Good way to prove my point there, Debbie. Oh, Kelly, he's not a bot. He's actually just demonic. He's been on my channel before. It's like Joe Biden wanted to start the Department of Misinformation or some crap. And Democrats were completely behind it. And we Republicans were like, oh God, please don't. Please don't. Please don't do this. Like, we don't need someone to tell us what is misinformation. Because who then determines what is misinformation and real information, right? Who determines what is real and not real? You never want that. That's communism. That's Marxism. And you guys are buying it. That's why I told y'all, I don't know if it was the right wing or the left wing that was behind the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I can't figure it out. But I can tell you this. They both sides of the aisle, all the politicians want the same thing. That is to remove your freedom of speech, your freedom of religion, your freedom to bear arms, your freedom to assemble, and then they can usher in the one world, everything, government, religion, the whole 9 yards. Y'all can't even see it. All right. So Jay says people just want to turn the cheek because it means they don't have to do anything and it's easier. Really, Jay? And hounding people on the internet and calling your politicians to remove their freedom of speech is going to do what? How is that going to make this better? I'm just saying. I read your comment. I do this every day. I've been doing it for years. Well, then you might need to type it better. Telling you guys right now, this is how it starts. Just like 9/11. I saw this after 9/11, the Patriot Act. We have to surveil the entire United States because there might be Al-Qaeda hiding behind the tree in Central Park. So we need satellites to look into your homes, and we need to track every American's phone without their permission. And we need to put a limit on how much money you can transfer in your bank without the government knowing. So we're going to put a $10,000 limit. So now we're in your bank, we're in your phone, we're in your GPS, and we're in your house. All because Republicans became afraid. Charlie Kirk gets assassinated. What am I seeing happen? Republicans saying, you can't say that. You can't. I won't let you. Senator so-and-so, I'm going to need you to pass laws to stop them from saying ugly things about Charlie Kirk on the internet. When Charlie Kirk welcomed people's comments, he welcomed them. He embraced other people's opinions. Y'all are doing the exact opposite in calling yourselves heroes and fighters and warriors. And I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I think you guys are being, well, you're being cruel. You're turning into fascists, whether you want to be or not, because of your hate. And you can't see it. Words don't kill, people. A word did not kill Charlie Kirk. An opinion did not kill Charlie Kirk. A gun didn't even really kill him. A person did. And I'm not trying to be ugly to y'all. This moves really fast. So I see one comment, then it's gone. So I just respond to whatever's directly right there. So again, don't have a spirit of offense. We're adults, right? I'm looking literally at thousands of comments scrolling. Here's the thing, guys. Charlie Kirk would tell you that if you wanted to support what he's doing, do what his wife told you to. Start a Turning Point USA. Yes, there are conservative transgenders. Jesus, have mercy. You're irritating. For real. You are. Whoever you are, you're irritating. There you go, Drake. If your enemy's hungry, feed him. If they're thirsty, give them drink. This is what I said earlier. People got y'all got so, not y'all that are still here, the ones that unsubscribed, got so upset because I said it is not okay for what you're doing to people. Because you think you are morally superior. But you're acting just like the left. So it's two negatives, folks. Any moral high ground that we had in this conversation, we lose it when we begin to stifle other people's freedom of speech, or we dox them, because cancel culture comes from the Nazi pogroms that Leslie tried to teach y'all about a few weeks ago. Nazi pogroms. They told people to cancel people that did not agree with them fully. So if you're out there trying to totally dismantle someone else's life because you didn't like a comment, again, let me clearly state that we have laws against threats. I'm not including threats in this thread. If you have a problem with what they said, or what they acted out, or that they laughed at the death of somebody, and you feel that it is your moral duty to destroy their life, then you're acting like a fascist. Because that is the definition of it. Thank you, Jimmy. There you go. Both sides are proving they're the same. I am a born again Christian. I'm as a conservative as you can get, man. I'm so conservative, I make other conservatives look like liberals. I am a hardliner on the Second Amendment. I'm a hardliner on freedom of speech. I am a hardliner on abortion, on trans, all that. I am 100 black or white on all of these topics. There is no middle ground on any of them for me. At the same time, I'm not going to make myself less than to prove a point to a faceless person on the internet. If I don't want to see what they're saying or listen to what they're saying about Charlie Kirk, I don't have to listen. Because I had the freedom to turn this computer off, to disengage from my phone. If what they're saying is making you so angry that it's causing you to sin, then stop it. Set it down and walk away. Go to church. Oh, amen, Mark. We all wear the same corrupt flesh. Let's make it obey. Guys, we're not going to change their mind by cussing them out or doxing them. All you're doing is proving to the left that you're hypocrites. And I know that this is not a popular position that I've taken, because I saw all the people throwing temper tantrums with my first video today. One car said, I'm on the left and I agree with what you're saying, but I think it's too late. They want a war, one car. They want the left and the right killing each other. They want black and white tearing the entirety of this country apart and making us think that we're enemies. But we are not enemies. We are all Americans. And we're all human. East Coaster had to be timed out because couldn't talk like an adult. I hope you're not a conservative or a Christian, East Coaster, because if you are, shame on you. That was good, Drake. That was good. They're destroying our country, but you know what they are doing? They're making you destroy it for them. And y'all so excited to get on that bandwagon. Why are you not out in the streets spreading the gospel? Because it's spiritual, right? Like, you're not going to convince a blue-haired girl that's had 4 abortions, has 22 piercings, that's trans, not to say something ugly against Charlie Kirk. But you could set them free from the demons if you take the time. And just so y'all know, some Democrats do consider themselves Christians. But then I'm looking at Republicans who are doxing and cussing, and I couldn't tell that you were a conservative. I think that you were a liberal. So I guess, even though I've always said you can't be Democrat and Christian in this day and age, I guess I was wrong. So, God's always showing me stuff. Oh, look, we got another one. A Walton Groggins had to be timed out because he doesn't know how to be an adult. Y'all are supposed to be the conservative group, and we're having to time you out like children. And I'm a conservative, and you're attacking me. So I can only imagine what you say to non-conservatives. By the way, YouTube doesn't pay me because they think my content's harmful. But see, they're a private company so that they can do that. But at least the government still gives me the right to say what I've got to say. So if you're against freedom of speech, that's on you. If you would like to see America heal, then please stop picking at the scabs and stalking the left. You're not going to change their mind because you got offended by what they said. The Bible tells you to take the spirit of offense off. Take it off. I agree. I never said that teachers shouldn't be punished. There are policies. School boards have policies against hate speech. You don't need to do anything. School boards already have policies. Therefore, you can just sit back, let the school board do what their hiring policy says. Everybody's furious, JRD 1998. But some of y'all are taking it too far. You're taking it way, way too far, people. You're becoming what you hate. And if you get mad at me and come after me, you're just solidifying what I'm saying. If you can't even hear a difference of opinion without losing your marbles, we're in deep trouble, America. So if you'd like to support our channel, look in the top of comments. I've got things to do today, but I just thought I would try to be, I just thought I'd share a different opinion with you guys, right? Freedom of friggin' speech. Love you guys. Be blessed.